Good evening, Stars, and welcome to the second ever broadcast of Western Boone Swimming. Tonight, the Webo Stars match up against the McCutcheon Mavericks. I'm Andrew Petro, and I'm joined here by Graham Cavins. Graham, what do we expect to see going into this strong matchup?
Well, we have some really good teams, and we're getting started here with the girls' 200-yard medley relay. In lane 3, Western Boone's A team consists of Ariana Stieber, Micah Hull, Hannah Hayden, and Jenna Twitty. And McCutcheon's A team consists of Kinsey Hutchinson, Sarah Lubin, Lillian Klein, and Rebecca Putman. And then Western Boone's B consists of Rebecca Rustin, Kara Hanna, Annabelle Mitchell, and Adeline Sarton. McCutcheon consists of Gitsumi Diaz, McKenna Wallace, Alexandra Wiquerme, and Abby Galanowski.
In lane 3, swimmer Ariana Stieber has already finished her 50. Micah Hull's now in the water for Western Boone. Followed by, in lane 4, the second swimmer for McCutcheon, Sarah Lubin.
Ariana Stieber with a really strong showing there in her 50-meter backstroke to start this relay for Western Boone. And as you said, now Micah Hull will have a lead here with her breaststroke.
Hull is holding the lead, but McCutcheon swimmer Sarah Lubin is quickly closing that gap.
As Hannah Hayden now enters the water for Western Boone, and Lillian Klein will enter for McCutcheon. Western Boone still in the lead as Hannah Hayden is putting on a strong performance here with her 50-meter butterfly for this relay as she increases the lead for Western Boone coming into this last leg.
And into the water is Jenna Twitty for Western Boone A team, followed by, for McCutcheon, Rebecca Putman. It's very close in lanes 5 and 6 for the B teams. Both of them are on their third swimmer currently. McCutcheon slowly pulling ahead. And now the last swimmer is in the water for all teams. And Jenna Twitty takes the girls' 200-yard medley relay for the Western Boone A team, followed by McCutcheon's Rebecca Putman. Western Boone finishes with a time of 2 minutes and 12 seconds, followed by McCutcheon with a time of 2:17.
And now we see McCutcheon coming in strong to finish third with their B team, with Western Boone's B team close behind, finishing fourth.
So now we have the scoreboard up. You can see our first and second place, followed by third place with a time of 2:36 by McCutcheon's B team, and Webo's B team with a time of 2:41 in fourth place. Up next, we have the boys' 200-yard medley relay.
As you look back at that girls' 200 medley relay, Western Boone with a really strong outing there to win the first event of the night.
In lane 3, we have Western Boone's A team. First swimmer for them is Jacob Norman. In lane 4, we have McCutcheon's A team. Their first swimmer is Hudson Burnett. Then Webo's B team is in lane 5. McCutcheon's B team is in lane 6. And McCutcheon's C team is in lane 2.
And it's really close between the A teams for both Western Boone and McCutcheon here, as it looks like maybe Western Boone has just a slight advantage.
The second swimmer for Western Boone is Jude Balke. Currently holds first, but quickly closing that gap is McCutcheon's second swimmer, Jackson Ackridge.
Yeah, really close first splits for both Western Boone and McCutcheon. They were both right around 31.2. And now we see McCutcheon take a slight lead on Western Boone's Jude.
Now in the water are the third swimmers for both Western Boone and McCutcheon. For Western Boone, that's Isaac Threlkeld, and for McCutcheon, that's Isaac Jackson. very close between the two swimmers. It's neck and neck. Too close to tell right now who is in first.
Yeah, Isaac Darkeld has done a nice job closing that gap, and they seem to touch the wall simultaneously as we go into the freestyle portion and the anchors for both relays. For Western Boone, that will be Chase Collier, and for McCutcheon, Ix Jackson Pelfrey. Isaac Darkeld went exactly 1 second faster on his butterfly leg than McCutcheon, closing the gap for Western Boone. And as we see, Chase Collier gets to the line first for the Stars as they win the boys 200 medley relay.
The Western Boone A team comes in with a time of 1:56.65, followed by McCutcheon's A team with a time of 1:57.81. Then followed in lane 5 by Weibo's B team with a time of 2:11. And next seems to be in lane 6. That is McCutcheon's B team. They come in with a time of 2:25.63. And finally, in 5th place in lane 2 will be McCutcheon's C team. The last swimmer for them in their C team is Ricardo Munoz, and he comes in finishing with a time of 2:37.66.
Again, Western Boone, a really strong showing there in that relay. All 4 competitors did an amazing job with Isaac Darkeld and Chase Collier there at the end. Isaac being able to catch up in that butterfly portion, and then Chase Collier getting McCutcheon by just over a second there to close for the win.
Up next will be the girls' 200-yard freestyle.
Next up is event number 3, the girls' 200-yard freestyle.
In this event, we will have 3 Western Boone athletes and 3 McCutcheon athletes. In lane 1, it'll be Rebecca Rustin. In lane 2, from McCutcheon, it's Annalise Thompson. In lane 3 for Western Boone, Adelaide Jones. In lane 4 for McCutcheon, Getsamani Diaz. In lane 5 for Western Boone, Caitlin Crowley. And then in lane 6 for McCutcheon, Lillian Klein.
Beginning in the lead in lane 3 is Addie Jones for Western Boone. Reaching her second 25 now, first before all the other swimmers. Followed by Addie is in lane 5. That is Caitlin Crowley for Western Boone. Addie Jones now into her second 50, along with Caitlin Crowley.
Addie Jones finishes that first 50 in 30.12 seconds, with Caitlin Crowley finishing that first 50 in 31.94.
The 2 Western Boone swimmers are followed by, in lane 6, Lillian Klein, a swimmer for McCutcheon. Following Lillian is a close battle for 4th in lanes 1 and 2 between Rebecca Rustin for Western Boone and Annalise Thompson for McCutcheon. And finally, in lane 4 is currently Getsamani Diaz for McCutcheon.
Addie Jones, a split there of 34.17, and then Caitlin Crowley, her split 35.28, followed by the McCutcheon athlete with a split of 42 seconds. Addie Jones still maintains the lead, and her teammate Caitlin Crowley is still in second place right now, with then McCutcheon in third. Addie Jones gets to the wall there and has a very similar split with the 35.31. Caitlin Crowley, another nice split as well with the 36.88.
So, Graham, we were cut off a little bit by the first event beginning so soon. Did you have anything you wanted to tell us about this matchup tonight?
Well, it should be a really great meet here tonight with 2 very talented teams, as we see Western Boone's Addie Jones finish first place with her teammate Caitlin Crowley not far behind. And so far, Western Boone has had a really strong showing in both the girls and boys, with both of their teams winning that 200 medley relay, and now the girls continue that strong start with Addie Jones and Caitlin Crowley placing 1-2 here in the 200 free.
Addie Jones finishes with a time of 2:13.91, and Caitlin Crowley with a time of 2:20.60. And it looks like third place will go to lane 6 for McCutcheon, Lillian Klein. She finishes with a time of 2:48.67. Then there might be.
Then we had lane 1 coming in. That was Western Boone's Rebecca Rustin finishing in 4th.
A little bit of troubles with the scoreboard.
Next event is event number 4, the boys 200-yard freestyle.
Up next will be the boys' 200-yard freestyle.
And the boys will look to continue their success after winning the 200 medley relay. As they enter the pool, the people competing in this in lane 1, Western Boone's Sam Hilger. In lane 2 from McCutcheon, Ben Toth. In lane 3 from Western Boone, Wyatt Barnett. In lane 4 from McCutcheon, Hudson Burnett. In lane 5 for Western Boone, Henry Biggs. And then in lane 6 for McCutcheon, Jackson Pelfrey.
Currently, it's a very close race for spot number 1. But currently, it's between lanes 3 and 4. That's Wyatt Barnett and Hudson Burnett. Wyatt Barnett seems to have taken first place, ever so slightly, for Western Boone.
That was very close there in that first split, with McCutcheon being ahead by just 0.4 seconds there.
Wyatt Barnett continues to hold his lead ever so slightly as he reaches his next 50.
Wyatt Barnett with a really solid split there with a 33.03, followed closely behind in lane 4 by McCutcheon with a time of 34.73.
Following those two swimmers in lane 6 for McCutcheon is Jackson Pelfrey. He currently holds third place, followed by Sam Hilger and Henry Biggs, both for Western Boone.
Wyatt Barnett ever so slightly increases his lead there on that turn with another very solid split of a 34.56, and then McCutcheon in lane 4 with a 35.65. And then out in lane 6, in third place, a split of 39.7. Wyatt showing really great endurance here in this 200 free as he takes the win and increases his lead there in that last 50.
Wyatt Barnett finishes for Webo with a time of 2:10.20. And that is only 3 seconds off his seed time, which is 2:07.63.
And then a close battle there for third. It'll go out to lane 6. That will be Jackson Pelfrey for McCutcheon as he finishes in a time of 2:24.99, followed by less than a second out in lane 5.
In second place, in lane 4 with a time of 2:16.65, was Hudson Burnett for McCutcheon.
Now we move on to the girls 200 IM. There will be 2 Western Boone athletes and 2 McCutcheon athletes. In lane 3, Ariana Stieber for Western Boone. In lane 4, Alessandra Requierme for McCutcheon. In lane 5, Annabelle Mitchell for Western Boone. And then in lane 6, Gabrielle Requierme for McCutcheon. And early on, it looks to be Ariana Stieber with a strong start in the lead for the Western Boone Stars.
Ariana Stieber gets a split time of 30.63. And now she's into the backstroke section.
She looks very comfortable and confident to start this race as she continues to increase her lead with McCutcheon's Alexandra Requierme sitting in second, and then Annabelle Mitchell for Western Boone in third, and then Gabrielle Requerme for McCutcheon sitting in fourth.
Ari Stieber for Western Boone is now in her third 50. She finished her second with a split time of 35.60. She's followed by, in lane 4 for McCutcheon, Alessandra Requerme, who is also very closely followed by Annabelle Mitchell for Western Boone. And then McCutcheon's second swimmer for this event, Gabrielle Requerme.
Yeah, out there in lane number 5, Annabelle Mitchell has slowly closed the gap here for her team.
Ari Stieber finishes her third 50 with a split time of 41.52, and she is into the final stretch of this event.
Yeah, Ari Stieber definitely looking like she's going to finish strong here with this freestyle portion, as she is now into her last 25.
A great swim by Ari Stieber. It looks as though she might finish before McCutcheon's first place swimmer currently, Alessandra Requerme, who is now into her fourth 50. Ari Stieber finishes with a time of 2:21.15, merely 7 seconds off her seed time of 2:13.51.
Yeah, Ari Stieber, not really a surprise she's able to come out with the win in this one, as she is the Western Boone record holder with her best time being 2:11.83. It is Western Boone's Alessandra Requerme sitting in fourth, and now Annabelle Mitchell followed close behind for third.
McCutcheon swimmer Alessandra Requerme finishes in second with a time of 3:09.28, followed by Annabelle Mitchell for Western Boone. Not sure what her time is just yet.
And then we see McCutcheon's Gabrielle Requerme finishing strong out there in lane 6.
Annabelle Mitchell finished her swim with a time of 3:14.30, followed by in lane 4 with a time of 3:35.64, Gabrielle Requerme.
Yeah, Ariana Stieber looked really good there in that 200-yard IM as she started strong and never looked back, winning it for the Stars, as we now move into the boys' 200-yard IM. There'll be 3 McCutcheon athletes and then 2 Western Boone athletes. In lane 2 from McCutcheon, Anders Nyquist. In lane 3 for Western Boone, Jacob Norman. In lane 4 for McCutcheon, Christopher Cleveland. In lane 5 for Western Boone, Malachi Catterson. And then out in lane 6 for McCutcheon, Grayson Wallace.
Very strong start for Norman for Western Boone, already into his second 50. He finished that first 50 with a time of 29.90. He's followed by fellow Western Boone swimmer Malachi Catterson in lane 5 with a split time of 33.37, who is very closely followed in lane 4 by Christopher Cleveland from McCutcheon. Norman in the home stretch of his second 50.
Yeah, Norman looking very comfortable here for the Stars, looking to follow in Stieber's footsteps and get the individual win on the boys' side for the Stars, as now McCutcheon in lane 4, Christopher Cleveland has overtaken second place away from Western Boone's Malachi Catterson. Jacob Norman continuing to look strong here in this breaststroke portion.
Christopher Cleveland for McCutcheon and extends his gap from Malachi Patterson and the breaststroke portion of the 200 IM.
And then Jacob Norman there for Western Boone finishes his breaststroke in a time of 42.94.
And Norman for Western Boone is now into the final 25 of this swim.
And he looks really strong coming to the finish line here with the freestyle.
Extremely strong, and it looks as though Norman will beat his seed time by 7 seconds with a time of 2:18.69. Incredible swim by Norman.
Yeah, I was about to say incredible swim there. It's a big win over the rest of the competition, and he definitely looks really happy down there in the pool.
And he's followed by, in lane 4, by Christopher Cleveland for McCutcheon. Cleveland finishes with a time of 2:42.97. Then by Malachi Patterson for Western Boone in lane 5 with a time of 2:47.53. Malachi Patterson also beating his seed time of 2:50.74. Followed in 4th place in lane 6 by Grayson Wallace for McCutcheon with a time of 2:58.60. Then 5th place in lane 2 for McCutcheon with a time of 3 minutes and 67 milliseconds is Anders Nyquist for McCutcheon.
Yeah, 2 really strong swims there from the Western Boone athletes as they're both able to get really strong times and beat that seed time. As we now move on to the 50-yard freestyle, which will be a really quick race here.
In lane 1 for Western Boone, we have Adeline Sarton. For McCutcheon in lane 2 is Kinsey Hutchinson. In lane 3 for Western Boone is Samantha Jones. In lane 4 for McCutcheon is Rebecca Putman. In lane 5 for Western Boone is Hannah Hayden. In lane 6 for McCutcheon is McKenna Wallace.
And it looks to be as Samantha Jones has gone out strong and taken the lead here, but she definitely has some competition out in lane 4 and 5, but it does look to be in lane 3, Samantha Jones getting a narrow victory of a time of 28:02.
She is followed by in lane 5 by Hannah Hayden for Western Boone with a time of 28:50. Then McCutcheon in lane 4 with a time of 28:89 is Rebecca Putman.
Yeah, what a solid swim there from those 2 Western Boone girls, narrowly defeating the athletes from McCutcheon, getting 1-2 with Samantha Jones and Hannah Hayden.
Now is the boys' 50-yard freestyle. Couple false starts. That's lane 2, Kyle Miller for McCutcheon, and lane 5, Isaac Geringer for Western Boone. We'll go ahead and run through the competitors. In lane 1 is Chase Collier for Western Boone. Lane 2 for McCutcheon is Kyle Miller. Lane 3 for Western Boone is Isaac Thurko. Lane 4 for McCutcheon is Jackson Ackridge. Lane 5 for Western Boone is Isaac Geringer. In lane 6 for McCutcheon is Isaac Jackson.
And again, another really close race here between some McCutcheon athletes and Isaac Threckeld, as it looks to be lane 4 with the slight advantage.
And lane 4 for McCutcheon, that's Jackson Ackridge. He will take it with a time of 24:17, followed by in lane 3 by Isaac Threckeld for Western Boone. He takes that second place position with a time of 24:41. Then lane 6 takes third with a time of 25:41. It's Isaac Jackson for McCutcheon. Fourth place in lane 2 with a time of 25:68 is Kyle Miller for McCutcheon. And with that concludes the first section of this meet. Now we head in to diving after a quick setup.
A really nice swim there from both McCutcheon and Western Boone athletes, as that was a really tight race between McCutcheon and Isaac Threckeld there for Western Boone, with McCutcheon getting the slight victory of less than 0.3 seconds.
So, Graham, those 50-yard freestyle events for the boys and girls, you know, they were both so fast we didn't even get a chance to talk about it. But like you said, great swims from both the boys and the girls winners of each event. And while we're waiting for diving to be finished setting up, we'll head into an ad break. We'll catch you guys after the break.
Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County. Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County area for nearly 15 years. Whitaker takes care of windows, specialty glass, mirrors, windshields, and more. Contact Troy and Janie at 765-482-1500 or online at www.whitglass.com.
Hi, I'm Anita B. from Anita B. Beauty, LLC. I'm a registered nurse, proud Lebo grad, fine line tattoo, and microblading artist. I offer 3-inch fine line tattoos starting at $100. Popular designs include birth flowers, loved one's handwriting, and custom design work. Additionally, I offer eyebrow microblading. We are located across from the Lebanon Library at the Glow House, where my business partner, Alita Jackson, offers teeth whitening and spray tans. And don't forget to mention this ad to get $5 off your next service. Go Stars!
Hello, I'm linebacker Kanan Bruins, out to thank Western Boone Youth Football for sponsoring WBTV Sports. Western Boone Youth Football building tomorrow's state champions.
IGH Steel is a local family-owned company that provides all of your metal cutting, powder coating, fabricating, and even all your welding needs. IGH Steel has been serving Central Indiana since 2009. Give Scott, Penny, John, and Jim Nyrider a call at 765-482-7534. That's IGH Steel.
WBTV would like to give a special thanks to Nick Throkeld for being a longtime sponsor of the Western Boone Radio TV class. And just like Nick's dedication to Western Boone, he's dedicated to making sure all your insurance needs are taken care of. Give Nick a call at Ellinger Riggs Insurance for all your personal, farm, business, and life insurance needs. That's Ellinger Riggs Insurance at 765-790-4365.
Thanks to JL Hardwood and Flooring Restorations for making this broadcast possible. Our friends at JL Hardwood and Flooring Restorations do custom inlays, refinishing, laminate, and vinyl plank flooring. Give Jesse and Kristen a call at 765-894-5978 or check them out on Facebook. That's JL Hardwood
And now here we are moving into the diving portion of this swim meet. We will start with the girls diving. For McCutcheon, there are 4 divers. Beginning is Eden McRoberts. It looks as though Eden McRoberts is currently projected to win. First dive of the night. And the judges' scores for that dive will be 6, 5, and 6. For a total dive score of 28.9. Up next is Kara Hanna for Western Boone. She is projected to take second place, but we'll see how she fares. Beginning with a front dive. Good dive by Hannah. The judges' scores will be 5, 5, and 4.5. For a total dive score of 23.2. Now on to the third diver, Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. First dive of the night for Mosby. The judges' scores for that dive will be 5, 4.5, and 5.5. For a total dive score of 24. Now on to the fourth diver, Lane Shepard for McCutcheon. Shepard's first dive of the night will be scored 4.5, 4, and 3 for a total dive score of 18.4. Followed by her is McCutcheon's final girls diver, Ainsley Howard. For her first dive of the night, the judges' scores will be 2.5, 3, and 2. For a total dive score of 12. Now on to the boys' divers, beginning with Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon. Good first dive by Adamson. Scores will be 5, 4, and 5. For a total dive score of 22.4. Now to Western Boone's only other diver tonight, Xander Rouse. Good dive by Rouse. That will get him judges' scores of 5, 5, and 5.5. For a total dive score of 26.35. Now on to McCutcheon's second boys diver, Luke Johns. Johns is currently seated in first place. We'll see how he does tonight. For his first dive of the night, Johns will get scores of 4.5, 4.5, and 5. For a total dive score of 23.8. Now on to Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon. Good dive by Lohr. That will get him judges' scores of 4, 4, and 3. For a total dive score of 17.6. Now on to Kamarion Ares for McCutcheon. That was a failed dive. No points awarded. Now back to the lady divers, beginning with Eden McRoberts for round 2. Good dive by McRoberts for McCutcheon. She will get judges' scores of 4.5, 5, and 5.5. For a total dive score of 33. Now back to Kara Hanna for Western Boone. Good dive by Hannah. Her judges' scores will be 5. Ooh, all 5s. That's a Yahtzee. Not sure if our viewers at home can hear it, but many people in the crowd yelled out Yahtzee. So feel free to do that in your living room or wherever you're watching this stream tonight. Now on to Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. Slightly missing the landing. Mosby will get judges' scores of 2.5, 2.5, and 3. For a total score of 14.4. And I do apologize, that was a 3.5 in the second spot on the scoreboard, not a 2.5. Now on to Lane Shepard for McCutcheon. Good dive. Now 4.5, 4, and 4. Now to Ansley Howard for McCutcheon. Judges' scores will be 3.5, 3.5, and 3 for a total dive score of 17. Now on to Jeremiah for McCutcheon.
Degree of difficulty 1.7, dive 103B, forward 1 1/2 somersault pike.
Good dive by Adamson, getting judges' scores of 3.5, 4, and 5 for a total score of 21.25. Now on to Xander Rouse for Western Boone.
Degree of difficulty 1.6, dive 201B, back dive pike.
For his second dive, he will be doing a back dive. Rouse will get scores of 5, 5, and 5 for Yahtzee for a total score of 21.4. I may have misheard that. I do apologize.
Difficulty 2.0, dive 203C, back 1 1/2 somersault tuck.
Luke Johns for McCutcheon up next. Johns will score 4, 4, and 4. That's a Yahtzee. First one for McCutcheon tonight for a total score of 24. Now on to Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon.
Dive 302C, reverse 1 somersault tuck.
Good dive by Lohr for McCutcheon. Scores of 5.5, 5, and 6 for a total score of 26.4. Now on to Kamarion for McCutcheon.
1 1/2 somersault in the pike position, degree of difficulty 1.7.
Kamarion has not put any points up on the board yet for McCutcheon, as his first dive was a failed dive. We'll see how he does on this one. His scores will be 4.5, 4, and 5 for a total score of 22.95. Now moving into round 3, back to the girls. A fun statistic. Weibo is currently leading McCutcheon by 1 in Yahtzees. Up now is Eden McRoberts for McCutcheon. Great dive by McRoberts with scores of 7, 6.5, and 7 for a total score of, I believe that was 31.75. That is so far the best dive tonight. She is currently following her seed time of first place. Seed score, my mistake, very closely. Up now is Kara Hanna for Western Boone. Looking to follow up McRoberts with her great dive. Hannah dives good, coming in with scores of 4.5, 4, and 5, 4.5 for a total dive score of 23.4. Up next is Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. Good dive by Mosby. Coming in with scores of 5, 4, and 5 for a total score of 22.4. Now on to Lane Shepard for McCutcheon in the third round of diving. She comes in with scores of 4.5, 4.5, and 5 for a total score of 23.8.
Ansley's third dive tonight is dive 401C, inward dive in the tuck position, degree of difficulty.
Now on to Ansley Howard for McCutcheon.
Inward dive tuck.
Good dive by Howard. Scores of 5.5, 4, and 5 for a total score of 23.3. Now on to Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon in this third round of diving. We would like to thank everyone at home for watching this stream on a Monday night. We know everyone is very busy, but we're glad you all are able to tune in. Good dive by Adamson for scores of 5, 4.5, and 5.5 for a total score of 25.5. Now on to Xander Rouse for Western Boone. In his last dive, he got a Yahtzee. We'll see if he can pull that off once again. Good dive by Rouse, getting judges' scores of 1.5, 2, and 3.5 for a total score of 11.9.
Luke's third dive tonight is dive 403C, inward dive with 1 1/2 somersault in the tuck position.
I would like to imagine Rouse was too focused on getting that Yahtzee.
Inward 1 1/2 somersault tuck.
Now on to Luke Johns for McCutcheon. Good dive by Johns. He gets scores of 5.5, 4.5, and 5.5 for a total dive score of 34.1. A very, very high score out of tonight's dives.
Forward dive with 1 1/2 somersault in the tuck position, degree of difficulty 1.6. Dive 103C, forward 1 1/2 somersault tuck.
Now on to Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon. So far, Luke Johns and Eden McRoberts are leading like their seed placements have put them. Lohr gets a score of 4, 4, and 5 with a total score of, I believe that might have been 27.8.
Degree of difficulty 1.7. Dive 201A, back dive straight.
Now on to Camarion for McCutcheon. Kamarian gets judges' scores of 4, 4, and 4.5. For a total dive score of 21.25.
Starting round 4 with Eden. Her fourth dive tonight is dive
Now on to round 4. Back to Eden McRoberts for McCutcheon.
in the tuck position. Degree of difficulty 2.2.
She will start off round 4 with a back dive.
Somersault tuck.
She will get judges' scores of 6, 5, and 6. For a total score of 37.4. That was one of the best dives once again tonight. McRoberts for McCutcheon is truly showing off her skills, and she is not scared to hold back. Now on to Kara Hanna for Western Boone. And she gets scores of 6, 6.5, and 4.5 for a total score of 20.4. And though you might not be able to see it on camera, she did go ahead and hit the bottom of the pool. As a judge, I would award that some bonus points, but maybe that's why I'm not a judge. Now on to Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. And Mosby will receive judges' scores of 4.5, 4, and 4. For a total score of 21.25.
Inward dive in the pike position. Degree of difficulty 1.5. Dive 401B. Inward dive pike.
Now on to Lane Shepard for McCutcheon. She will get judges' scores of 4, 4, and 4.5 for a total score of 18.75. Now on to Ansley Howard for McCutcheon.
Degree of difficulty 1.2. Dive 101C. Forward dive tuck.
Good dive by Howard. She will receive a Yahtzee. Judges' scores of 4, 4, and 4. For a total score of 14.4. And now, Western Boone and McCutcheon are tied up in their Yahtzees. I do believe both Yahtzees for McCutcheon came from the girls' divers, and one each from Kara Hanna and Xander Rouse for Western Boone. Now on to Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon with his dive for the fourth round. And he will get judges' scores of 4, 4.5, and 4 for a total dive score of 21.25.
Xander's fourth dive tonight is dive 103B. Forward dive.
Now on to Xander Rouse for Western Boone.
Degree of difficulty 1.7.
He currently holds one Yahtzee for tonight, looking to improve from his dive last round. Rouse improves to 5, 5, and 5.5 for a total dive score of 26.35. A huge improvement for him from his last dive. Great job to Rouse. Now on to Luke Johns for McCutcheon. He's currently leading the boys in diving.
52-31D, back dive, 1 1/2 somersault, half twist, free.
Great dive by Johns. He will get judges' scores of, and we'll see, 3.5, 4.5, and 4.5 for a total score of 26.25. Now on to Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon. And with that dive, Lohr will score 4.5, 4, and 4 for McCutcheon. That's a total dive score of 21.25. Now on to Camarion for McCutcheon. And his judges' scores will be 3.5, 4, and 3.5 for a total dive score of 19.8.
Starting round 5, Eden's fifth dive is dive 203C.
Now starting round 5, Eden McRoberts for McCutcheon will begin.
Dive 203C, back dive, 1 1/2 somersault, tuck.
And with that dive, McRoberts will get judges' scores of 4.5, 5, and 4.5 for a total dive score of 28. Now on to Kara Hanna with her 5th dive of the night.
Degree of difficulty 1.7. Dive 103B, forward, 1 1/2 somersault, pike.
And with that dive, she will get 4.5, 5, and 5 for a total dive score of 24.25.
Back dive, 1 somersault in the pike position. Degree of difficulty 1.6. Dive 202B.
Now on to Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. Mosby will get judges' scores of 2.5, 2, and 2.5 for a total dive score of 11.2. Now on to Lane Shepard for McCutcheon.
Forward dive with a half twist in the straight position. Degree of difficulty 1.8. Dive 5111A. Forward
And with that, Shepard will get judges' scores of 5, 4, and 4 for a total dive score of 23.4.
Ansley's fifth dive tonight is dive 5111A.
Now to Ansley Howard for McCutcheon.
In the straight position, degree of difficulty 1.8. Dive 5111A, forward dive, half twist, straight.
Ansley will get judges' scores of 3, 3.5, and 3 for a total score of 17.1.
Jeremiah's fifth dive tonight is dive 402C.
Now on to the 5th round of diving for the boys. Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon to start.
402C, inward, one somersault, tuck.
With that dive, Adamson will get judges' scores of 4.5, 4, and 5 for a total score of 21.6.
Xander's fifth dive tonight is dive 104C.
Now on to Xander Rouse for Western Boone.
Somersaults in the tuck position, degree of difficulty 2.2. Dive 104C, forward, 2 somersault, tuck.
Here he looks to continue his improvement from his previous dives, moving in next to the last one. Great dive by Xander Rouse for Western Boone, getting judges' scores of 5, 5, and 5.5 for a total score of 34.1. And I do believe that is Rouse's best score of the night on a dive. Great job to him. And now he's followed up by Luke Johns for McCutcheon. Now there is some pressure. Following up a great dive from Rouse. We'll see how Johns does. Johns looks at Rouse's dive and levels it up with scores of 6, 5.5, 6, 5.5, and 5.5 for what I believe was a total score of 40.8. He definitely did not crumble in the face of pressure. However, that was still a good dive by Rouse. A great dive, though, by Luke Johns for McCutcheon. Up next is Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon. He will get judges' scores of 3.5, 3.5, and 4.5 for a total dive score of 23. Now on to Kamarian's 5th dive. With that, he will get judges' scores of 2.5, 2, and 2.5 for a total score of 11.9.
Starting our final round tonight is Eden with dive 5231D, back dive with 1 1/2 somersault and a half twist in the free position, degree of difficulty 2.1.
And now we are on to the last round of diving, beginning with Eden McRoberts for McCutcheon. She looks here to extend her lead and take first place for the girls' diving event.
1 1/2 somersault, 2 1/2 somersault, 1 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 1/2 somer
And McRoberts finishes strong, getting judges' scores of 5.5, 6, and 5 for a total score of 34.65. Great job to McRoberts on ending it strong and keeping it very solid throughout. Now on to Kara Hanna for Western Boone. Seated to take second place, she looks to hold that in her last dive. And with her last dive, Hannah scores 5, 5, and 6 for a total dive score of 24. Hannah ended solid with a simple yet effective dive. Now on to Addison Mosby for McCutcheon. A solid final dive for Mosby. She will get judges scores of 5. She will get a total dive score of 18.6. I apologize for that. I couldn't quite hear the announcer. And that was Lane Shepard for McCutcheon completing her final dive of the night. She get judges scores of 5, 4.5, and 4.5 for a total score of 21. Now on to Ansley Howard for McCutcheon. The final dive of the girls diving event. And she finishes getting judges scores of 4, 4, and 4.5 for a total dive score of 17.5. Now on to the boys' final round of diving. Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon will start. And with that, Adamson will get judges scores of 4, 4, and 3 for a total dive score of 18.7. Now on to Xander Rouse for Western Boone, completing his final dive of the night. And I do believe he has chosen a difficult one, but we'll see how he performs. Good final dive by Rouse for Western Boone, getting scores of 5.5, 5, and 6 for his highest scoring dive tonight, a score of 36.3. Incredible job by Rouse. Now Luke Johns looking to follow that up with what he hopes will be something greater. But that will be difficult, as Rouse's dive was a very good dive. And with that, Luke Johns for McCutcheon will get judges scores of 5.5, 5, and 6.5 for a total score of 37.4. He just barely edges over Xander Rouse from Western Boone. I guess you could say he slightly blows Rouse's score out of the water. But just slightly. And now we move to Andrew Lohr for McCutcheon. Good final dive by Lohr. He gets judges' scores of 4, 4, and 3.5. For a total score of 17.25. And finally, Kamarion from McCutcheon will complete the final dive of tonight's meet. And with the final dive of the night from Kamarion, he will get scores of 5, 4, and 5.5 for a total dive score of 21.75. And with that, we end the diving portion of tonight's meet. Graham, could you give us your take on the diving tonight?
Well, there was definitely a lot of competitors for both the girls and guys tonight, and it was really fun to get to see all those different variations of dives that we were able to see, and there were so many excellent dives on the girls and guys side from both Western Boone and McCutcheon. Definitely super entertaining. It'll be interesting to see who takes the win there in that diving competition.
And it is worth mentioning a couple things. We had good numbers from both teams on their amount of Yahtzees. Fun statistic. But it's also very much worth noting that Luke Johns from McCutcheon had incredible dives tonight. I know sitting up here at this slim table away from the diving board, after a couple of his dives, we literally had our mouths gaping.
Yeah, he did some dives that I've never even seen before, as he was twisting and twirling through the air and still managed to get through that water with very little splash. He did an excellent job tonight.
And Xander Rouse for Western Boone. Competing with him was difficult, but on his last couple dives, he definitely proved himself as a competitor tonight. Great job to all the divers, male and female. And as they set up for the final portion of tonight's meet, back to swimming, we will go ahead and take an ad break. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, my name is Michael Behrens, and I'm a current meteorologist at WZZM-TV in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I bought this advertisement simply to support the awesome work that the Western Boone radio TV program does and the opportunities it provides to students. In fact, that's how I got my start in television. Without this amazing program, I would not be where I am today. So please, do what you can to support this unique program and the students who dedicate so much to make it a success. Thanks for watching WBTV.
Just like the offensive line protects our Western Boone quarterback, Agent Derek Gaha of the Wilkinson Insurance Agency has your back when it comes to all of your auto, home, business, and life. Give Derek a call at 317-852-8330 to get a quote and find out how the Wilkinson Insurance Agency might be able to help you.
Just like when you are cheering from the stands or cheering from home, Boone REMC is cheering on our Boone County athletes. Boone REMC offers scholarships and youth programs. Find them on the web at bremc.com. That's Boone REMC, sending power to the stars.
If your car's not running like it should, make sure you bring it to Beasley Automotive, located at 321 South Front Street in Thorntown. Locally owned by Weibo grad Brayton Beasley, that's Beasley Automotive and Performance Repair.
Hi, my name is Michael Behrens, and I'm a current meteorologist at WZZM TV in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I bought this advertisement simply to support the awesome work that the Western Boone radio TV program does and the opportunities it provides to students. In fact, that's how I got my start in television. Without this amazing program, I would not be where I am today. So please, do what you can to support this unique program and the students who dedicate so much to make it a success. Thanks for watching WBTV.
Whether you are a first-time home buyer or a long-time investor, Moody & Company is there to support you throughout the buying and selling process. Give Weibo grad Jordan Moody and his team a call at 765-336-1622. Let Moody & Company take all the stress out of buying or selling your next home.
Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County area for nearly 15 years. Whitaker takes care of windows, specialty glass, mirrors, windshields, and more. Contact Troy and Janie at 765-482-1500 or online at www.whitglass.com.
Hello, I'm junior linebacker Kanan Bruins, out to thank Western Boone Youth Football for sponsoring WBTV Sports. Western Boone Youth Football building tomorrow's state champions.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
WBTV would like to thank Nick Threlkeld for being a longtime sponsor of the Western Boone Radio TV class. And just like Nick's dedication to Western Boone, he's dedicated to making sure all of your insurance needs are taken care of. Give Nick a call at Ellinger Riggs Insurance for all of your auto, home, farm, life, and business. That's Ellinger Riggs Insurance at 765-790-4365.
Do you need shirts for a school, business, club, or anything else? Give Willie Smith and Smith Tees Screen Printing a call. Smith Tees will give you excellent service with satisfaction guaranteed. Just call 765-436-7930.
Jay's Repair Service is a proud sponsor of WBTV Sports and Anything Western Boone. Jay's Repair Service is your
And now we come back from our break with the diving scores. In third place for the girls divers is Elaine Shepard. In second place is Kara Hanna for Western Boone. And the winner is Eden McRoberts for McCutcheon. Great job to all the girls divers. And now we move on to the boys' scores. Kamarian finished with a score of 97.65. In fourth place was Andrew Lohr. He finished with a score of 126.3. In third place is Jeremiah Adamson for McCutcheon with a score of 131.7. Then Xander Rouse with a score of 159. And finally, in first place for McCutcheon was Luke Johns with a score of what I believe was 186. Incredible job to all of the divers, both boys and girls. Now we move in to the final portion of tonight's meet, the girls' 100-yard butterfly now.
In lane 1 for Western Boone, we have Annabelle Mitchell. In lane 2 from McCutcheon, we have Gabrielle Requerme. In lane 3 from Western Boone, we have Hannah Hayden. In lane 4 from McCutcheon, we have Lillian Klein. In lane 5 from Western Boone, Jenna Twitty. And then out in lane 6 from McCutcheon, Alessandra Requerme.
And it's a close battle for first place, but currently it is between lanes 3 and 5, both Western Boone swimmers. That's Hannah Hayden and Jenna Twitty.
And it will be Hannah Hayden getting to that wall first here with her first 50 with the lead.
Not sure what her split time was. The scoreboard was not turned on, but Hayden continues to hold that lead and slowly grow that gap from swimmer Jenna Twitty.
And that split time for Hannah Hayden was a 43.72 for her first 50 there in the 100 fly.
Followed by Twitty with a 45.94.
And Hannah Hayden looks comfortable and confident here as she has this first place within reach for her. As she will indeed touch the line in first. A great swim there from Hannah Hayden, and then a great swim from her teammate Jenna Twitty as she will finish second, a 1-2 finish for the Stars.
Hannah Hayden finishes first with that score, that time of 1:12.46, followed by Twitty with 1:16.97. Finishing now is McCutcheon's last swimmer in lane 2. That's Gabrielle Requerme. And as you can see, we have the scoreboard up on the screen. Great job to the swimmers in the girls' 100-yard butterfly. Now moving on to the boys' 100-yard butterfly. Only 2 WeBo competitors in this compared to the 3 McCutcheon.
In lane 2 from McCutcheon, we have Paul Jacobson. In lane 3 from Western Boone, Isaac Druckheld. In lane 4 from McCutcheon, Anders Nyquist. In lane 5 from Western Boone, Malachi Catterson. And then rounding out the field out in lane 6 from McCutcheon, Grayson Wallace.
And a very, very strong start for Isaac Druckheld in lane 3 as he reaches the end here in his first 50. His split time will be 28.90, followed by Malachi Catterson in lane 5 with a split time of 32.46.
What a strong start there for Isaac Druckheld out there for Western Boone. He really shot out of those blocks, and he will just slowly increase his lead here as he turns towards home with 25 meters to go.
In third place is Grayson Wallace for McCutcheon. His split time was 37.55. And now Isaac Druckheld nears the home stretch of his final 50. And finishing extremely strong, he touches the wall and finishes with a time of 1:02.82.
Yeah, and a really strong swim for him there, as that's a second faster than we had him on the seed time. So an excellent swim. And then his teammate Malachi Catterson, another 1-2 finish here for the Stars and the 100-meter butterfly for boys.
Malachi Catterson as you may have seen, being extremely excited, hitting the pool water, as he also beat his seed time by 2 seconds, finishing with 1:11.87, followed by in lane 6, third place with a time of 1:19.36 is Grayson Wallace for McCutcheon. Then fourth place in lane 2, that's Paul Jacobson for McCutcheon. Not sure what his time is. We'll see on the scoreboard. That is a 1:40.37. Then followed in lane 4 with a time of 1:46.90 was Anders Nyquist. Up next, we have the girls' 100-yard freestyle.
All 6 lanes will be filled for this event. There will be 3 Western Boone athletes and 3 McCutcheon athletes competing. With our seed times here, Samantha Jones from Western Boone is predicted to win this race.
And off they go.
Out in lane 1 for Western Boone is Rebecca Rustin. Lane 2 for McCutcheon, Annalise Thompson. Lane 3, the favorite, Samantha Jones. In lane 4 from McCutcheon, Rebecca Putman. In lane 5 from Western Boone, Micah Hull. And then in lane 6 for McCutcheon, Abby Galanowski.
Samantha Jones in lane 3 currently holds the first place position, but it is a very, very close battle between her and lane 4, Rebecca Putman for McCutcheon. Samantha Jones still holds the lead going into her second 50. Her split time was 29:53, followed by, in second place, 30:32.
Yeah, really solid split time there from Samantha Jones. Anytime you see a split there under 30 seconds, you know they really went out strong as she looks to hold on to this first place position.
Keeping up the speed, Jones continues to extend her lead. Now in the home stretch, she reaches for the wall and finishes first place with a time of 1:01.47. Not quite her seed time, but extremely close. She's followed by in lane 4, second place with a time of 1:04.14, Rebecca Putman from McCutcheon. Then followed in third place, lane 5 with a time of 1:11.36, Michael Hull for Western Boone. Then fourth place in lane 1 with a time of 1:12.38, Rebecca Rustin for Western Boone. Up next is the boys' 100-yard freestyle.
Yeah, what a great race there from those Western Boone swimmers as they are able to get first, third, and fourth, getting lots of good points there for the team totals. And now we will move in to the boys' 100-yard freestyle. Again, an even split with 3 Western Boone and 3 McCutcheon athletes. In lane 1, we have Isaac Geringer from Western Boone. In lane 2, Jackson Pelfrey from McCutcheon. In lane 3, Artie McAllister from Western Boone. Lane 4, Jackson Ackridge from McCutcheon. In lane 5, Sam Hilger from Western Boone. And then in lane 6, Isaac Jackson from McCutcheon.
Currently in lane 4, that is Jackson Ackridge for McCutcheon. Going into his second 50, his split time for that was 26:51, a great time. Then followed by, in lane 3 for Western Boone, Artie Millizer with a split time of 30:90.
Yeah, what a solid swim there out in lane 4 for Jackson Ackridge, as she already has a 4-second lead after that first 50, and he still looks strong as he's coming home.
And in that home stretch, Jackson Ackridge already finishes for McCutcheon with a time of 55:58. That is just off of his seed time by a second.
Yeah, and we saw McCutcheon there finish 1, 2, 3 with their athlete in lane 6, and then in lane 2, then getting second and third.
In lane 6, that was Isaac Jackson for McCutcheon with a time of 58:76, followed by in lane 3, Artie Millizer for Western Boone with a time of 1:04.94. Congrats to Artie Millizer. He beat his seed time by about a second. He is followed by 4th place in lane 5 with a time of 1:08.71. Sam Hilger for Western Boone.
And
then in lane 1, that's Isaac Geringer with a time of 1:41.39.
And great job there from Isaac Geringer out in lane 1 as he beat his seed time by nearly 3 seconds.
Up next is the girls' 500-yard freestyle.
This is the longest race we will see tonight, with 4 athletes competing, 2 from Western Boone and 2 from McCutcheon. Out in lane 3 for Western Boone, that is Adelaide Jones. In lane 4 for McCutcheon, Sarah Lubin. In lane 5 for Western Boone will be Caitlin Crowley. And then closing out the field in lane 6 from McCutcheon is Rieslyn Goetz.
Addie Jones in lane 3 with Sarah Lubin in lane 4, both respectively for Western Boone and McCutcheon, currently are neck and neck going into their second 50. Their first split times were Addie Jones with a 31:14 and Sarah Lubin with a time of
31:08. Less than a half a second separating these two girls as they're basically swimming the same race right about now. They seem to be almost in sync with their arms movements as they hit the wall here.
And they almost are. Addie Jones takes her second 50 with a split of 34:12, followed by Sarah Lubin with a split time of 34:41.
And then we have Western Boone's Caitlin Crowley currently in 3rd place. Her split time was a 36:43 on that 50.
And in lane 6, that's Rieslyn Goetz for McCutcheon with a first split time of 1:28.94. Addie Jones inching ahead slowly in lane 3 with a split time of 35:05, followed by Sarah Lubin with a split time of 35:17, then Caitlin Crowley with a split time of 37:51.
Yeah, still a super tight race here between Addie Jones and her main competitor, Sarah Lubin, right now, as this race, again, is neck and neck here in this 500. This race, as I mentioned, is the longest race here tonight, and it takes lots of endurance from these athletes to be able to get through such a long, tiring race.
And it may be hard to see on camera, but every time Addie Jones comes into a new 50, she slowly inches ahead on her kickflip.
Yeah, her flip turns have been really good here in this race, and that's allowing her to get just that slight advantage on her competitor, Sarah Lubin, as her split times are always 0.2 or 0.3 seconds faster each time they hit that wall.
Going into what I do believe is the 6th 50 for both Addie Jones and Sarah Lubin. Addie Jones gets a split time of 35:73, followed by Sarah Lubin with a split time of 36:09. Addie Jones still slowly inching ahead of her main competitor. And in 3rd is Caitlin Crowley with a split time of 38:83.
Yeah, Sarah Lubin is still right there, though, in an excellent position. She'll just have to try to stick with Addie Jones from Western Boone here, and then really use it in that last 50 to try to get past her.
And in 6th, with a split time of 53:23, is Rieslyn Goetz for McCutcheon. A great improvement on that split from her last one. Now, ever so slightly, taking that lead even more is Addie Jones with another split time of 35:69, followed by Sarah Lubin with a split time of 36:43.
And then we see Caitlin Crowley hitting the wall there with a solid split time of 38.9. As you said, Andrew, it seems almost every 50, Addie Jones, just by fractions of a second, continues to increase her lead as she looks very comfortable here in this 500 freestyle.
Graham, you may put it as comfortable. I know I would definitely not be comfortable in this 500. I would once again be sinking. Addie Jones with that split time of 35, followed by Sarah Lubin with a split time of 36.
Again, those split times separated by less than a second, but favoring Addie Jones' side as she continues to slowly stretch that lead, as it now seems to be about half a body length.
And now it is all a battle of consistency. Who will take first in this 500? Addie Jones with a split time of 36.17, followed by Lubin with a split time of 36.95.
And then Caitlin Curley approaching the wall here. Another solid split time for her. 39.13 for Caitlin Curley, sitting in third. And then out in lane 6, that will be Reslin Goetz for McCutcheon with a split time of 55.84.
And the bells are ringing. Addie Jones is in her last 50 with a split time of 35.72. Currently, it is 5 minutes 30 on the clock. Addie Jones's best seed time in this event is 5:48.17. We will see just how close she will get to that time. Right now, she's nicely on track to get a little bit over that time, but we will see. And Addie Jones finishes first, hardly over her seed time with a time total of 5:49.96, merely a second over her split time. Great job to Addie Jones.
Yeah, great job for Addie Jones finishing first there. And a congratulations to Sarah Lubin from McCutcheon, who finishes second. Both those girls just so consistent with those split times, all in that 35, 36 second range, if not a little bit faster, as we see Caitlin Crowley finishing strong here for the Stars in third.
It was great to watch. Lubin kept up most of the event with Addie Jones, finishing with a time of 6:10.84, and Caitlin Crowley behind her with a time of 6:17.95. Congrats to these three swimmers. And now we watch Reslin Goetz for McCutcheon as she approaches what I do believe will be her last 50.
Her split time there was a 56.75 as she looks to finish this 500 strong.
Goetz is doing exceptionally well compared to her seed time, which was 8:59.88. She is on track to beat that by more than a minute. I do apologize. That was my mistake. I misread the sign held by her teammates at the end of the lane. Now she is on her last 50. She just had a split time of 56.13. Good to see more consistency through from her as this event progresses. And now, 8:15 about on the clock. She reaches her last 25. Her seed time was 8:59.88. And she is still on track to beat it. Let's see how she does. Pushing strong in this last 25. She speeds up ever so slightly.
You can see her coaches cheering her on there on that side of the pool, as they know that she is close to obliterating her seed time here as she approaches the wall.
And incredible job to Reslin Goetz for McCutcheon. She will finish fourth with a time of 8:44.21. Graham, can you do the quick math for us? How does that compare to her seed time?
Well, that'll be over 15 seconds faster than her seed time, so she absolutely crushed it there for McCutcheon. Excellent swim from her.
Congrats to Goetz. And now we move into the boys' 500-yard freestyle.
All 6 lanes will be filled for this 500-yard freestyle for the boys with 3 Western Boone and 3 McCutcheon athletes. Seated first is Western Boone's Wyatt Barnett. As in lane 1, we have Western Boone's Henry Biggs. In lane 2, we have McCutcheon's Wyatt Burge. Then in lane 3 from Western Boone, we have Wyatt Barnett. Then in lane 4 from McCutcheon, we have Ben Toth. In lane 5 for Western Boone, Chase Collier. And then out in lane 6 for McCutcheon, Silas Preston.
And just barely in first is Wyatt Barnett in lane 3 for Western Boone, but he is very closely matched as of right now by Chase Collier for Western Boone in lane 5. Followed by them is yet again another close battle, this time for what will probably end up being third between lanes 6 and 1. In lane 1 is Henry Biggs. In lane 6, Silas Preston for McCutcheon.
Yeah, Wyatt Barnett has already had an excellent meet tonight as he was able to get the individual win in the 200-yard freestyle, as he looks to get another individual win under his belt here in the 500-yard freestyle, and he's looking good here to start in that first place position, with his teammate also swimming an excellent race out there in lane 5, Chase Collier in second.
Wyatt Barnett slightly takes that lead going into this 25. Only inches ahead of Collier. Both Western Boone swimmers. So as of right now, just a harmless competition between those two. Wyatt Barnett gets a split time of 37.96, followed by Collier with a split time of 37.43.
So we see Chase Collier there ever so slightly catch up to his teammate Wyatt Barnett. Still a really tight race here between Chase Collier and Wyatt Barnett as they come to the wall. It will be Barnett with a slight advantage over Collier once again, as Wyatt hits the wall with a split time of 38.33 and Chase Collier with a time of 38.42. So Wyatt just 0.1 seconds faster there than Chase on that split time. They're swimming very similar races right now. Out in lane 6, that is McCutcheon's Silas Preston, who just had a good split time of 42.14. And then in lane 4, that's Ben Toth for McCutcheon with a 42.91.
Wyatt Barnett and Chase Collier almost identically head into the halfway mark of their race.
Yeah, we see that time Chase Collier gets the better of Barnett with a 37.5 on his split, compared to exactly a second slower from Barnett with a 38.5.
In lane 1, Henry Biggs with a split time of 42.62. And in lane 4, Ben Toth for McCutcheon with a split time of 43.50.
It almost looks as if Chase Collier has taken a slight advantage over Wyatt Barnett there, as the split times are very similar again with a 37.18 and a 37.39.
Still very hard to tell. As of right now, it looks as though Wyatt has evened that lead with Chase. A very, very close race between the two.
Yeah, this will be very interesting who ends up having the best endurance for this race here and who can really finish strong to be able to outkick that other competitor.
And now it looks as though Collier is in the lead just by inches. Now into his next 50. Collier with a split time of 38.11, followed by Barnett with a split time of 38.49.
The past couple 50s, we've seen Collier just ever so slightly push ahead of Barnett. Very similar to that girls' race that we saw earlier in the 500 freestyle. Two athletes swimming very similar races. In that girls' race, Addie Jones was able to pull away in that last 75 or 50, so we'll see which athlete will be able to do that here, or if we'll have an even tighter race in this boys' race.
Collier now into his next 50. I do believe that will be his ninth 50. He has a split time of 36.74, followed by Barnett with a split time of 37.86.
Yeah,
it's interesting to watch. The split times in these past few 50s have increased, or shall I say, have shortened. They have gotten better as the time has gone on, and I would think that it would be the opposite way. What do you think about that, Graham?
Yeah, just an excellent swim here from Chase Collier. Started right around that same split times as Wyatt Barnett, but now here in this last 50, we've seen him slowly pick it up, but Barnett's not going to let him get away with that first place easily as he's right on his tail. But it is Collier with an even quicker split time on that 50, going under 36 with a 35.97.
Wyatt Barnett following behind Collier, pushing hard to try and get that lead back, but it looks just as though Chase Collier is zooming through this last 50. Barnett has no idea that he is going that fast. Collier with a split time, not sure what his split time was, but he finishes with a time of 6:03.85. That is 9 seconds better than his seed time.
Yeah, what an incredible swim there from Chase Collier getting the victory. And let's take nothing away from Wyatt Barnett as he finished with a time of 6:07.01, which is 0.2 seconds faster than his seed time. So both those boys finishing 1 and 2 for Western Boone and better their seed times here, so excellent swims from them.
Absolutely incredible race from Collier. But now, as we see in lane 1, that's Henry Biggs for Western Boone. He's in the home stretch. He is fighting for third, but it looks as though McCutcheon will take third in lane 6. That's Silas Preston. He finishes with a time of 6:52.23, just barely followed by Henry Biggs with a time of 6:52.94. Then in lane 4 with a time of 7:01.21, that's Ben Toth for McCutcheon. And finally, in lane 2, we have the last swimmer. That is Wyatt Burge for McCutcheon.
Yeah, such a tight finish there for that third place spot. Out there in lane 6, that was Silas Preston for McCutcheon. He was in 4th for most of that race, but then an excellent kick from him is able to vault him into that third place position by just less than a second.
And in this final stretch, we see Wyatt Burge for McCutcheon. He breaks his seed time, I do believe. Yep, by 7 seconds. Incredible job to all the swimmers in this boys 500 freestyle. And especially great job to Chase Collier for Western Boone, beating his teammate Wyatt Barnett, who was seeded to beat him. I guess, Graham, you could say that Chase blew Wyatt out of the water.
Yeah, it was a really good race from those athletes as we now move into the girls' 200-yard freestyle relay. Starting the relay in lane 3 for Western Boone, that'll be Samantha Jones, fresh off her victory. In lane 4, McCutcheon, Ab Galenkowski will start for McCutcheon. And then in lane 5, Western Boone's B team, Annabelle Mitchell will start for Western Boone.
And in lane 3, that's Western Boone's A team, lane 4, McCutcheon's A team, lane 5, Western Boone's B team.
And what a solid swim there from Samantha Jones as she touches the wall first, and her teammate Hannah Hayden will into the pool.
Followed closely by McCutcheon's A team second swimmer, Alessandra Requerme, in lane 4. Hayden, however, into her 25, final 25, increases that lead considerably from McCutcheon's A team.
Yeah, we saw Samantha Jones swim a 31.86 there for that first leg of the relay. And then Hannah Hayden goes extremely fast there for the stars. Up on the screen, we are seeing that time was a 24.25.
That is lightning fast. Great job to Hayden. But now, as you see in lane 3, that's Ariana Stieber for Western Boone looking to match that extremely fast split time. And she just barely goes over that split time with a 26.65. Great job by both swimmers. Now, the last swimmer in the water for Western Boone's A team, that's Addie Jones.
Yeah, Western Boone, a big lead here as Addie Jones comes to this finish line, having another excellent swim herself, as we saw her finish first in that 500-yard freestyle earlier. She backs it up with another strong performance in the relay, as Western Boone finishes first with a really solid time of 1:51.27.
And though they were seeded to take second place, they beat McCutcheon considerably. McCutcheon's A team now finishes with a 2:08.79, followed by Western Boone's B team with a 2:10.02. Great job to all the teams on this event.
Yeah, really close finish there between McCutcheon and then Western Boone's B team. Western Boone kept it close there with McCutcheon, but McCutcheon was able to pull it out to get that second place finish. As we now see the official talking to that McCutcheon relay. Don't want to speculate too much, but maybe a bit of a false start from one of those McCutcheon athletes. We will have to see. But going back to that relay, all four swimmers for Western Boone that consisted of Samantha Jones, Hannah Hayden, Ariana Stieber, and Adelaide Jones all swam outstanding times for that relay, as they were able to finish first with a great time of 1:51.
Up next is the boys 200-yard freestyle relay. Lanes 2 through 6 are full.
Yeah, McCutcheon's A team is seeded to take first in this event. And starting for them is Isaac Jackson, and then starting for the Western Boone A team is Ethan Barnett.
In lane 2 for McCutcheon is their C team. First swimmer, Duncan Braden. In lane 3 is Western Boone's A team. Lane 4, McCutcheon's A team. Lane 5, Western Boone's B team. Lane 6, McCutcheon's B team.
As we saw Western Boone's A and McCutcheon's A jump into the water, McCutcheon had the lead there, but Jude Bulk for Western Boone had an excellent start there, as he was able to shrink that lead and now overtake it here as Western Boone is in first.
And into the water is Chase Collier, looking to extend that lead considerably from McCutcheon's A team. Currently for McCutcheon is Silas Preston in the water.
Yeah, and we know Chase Collier definitely has the endurance for this kind of race, as we saw him win that 500-yard freestyle earlier at this meet.
And up next for Western Boone will be Wyatt Barnett jumping in the water now. Both Wyatt Barnett and Chase Collier have just swam incredible times in the 500 free, and now they are in this relay. It must be tiring, but it is no problem for them, as Wyatt Barnett is in the 25, and he's reaching for that home stretch. And finally, Wyatt Barnett touches the wall, and he finishes for Western Boone's A team with a time of 1:46.39. Great job to that team on completing that race so fast, followed by McCutcheon's A team with a time of 1:51.98.
Yeah, Kyle Miller there swam a really awesome anchor leg for McCutcheon, as he was able to close that gap on Wyatt Barnett a little bit, but the gap was just too big. But he did have an excellent swim there for McCutcheon.
And I do believe in lane 6, that's McCutcheon's B team. They finished third. Not sure what is going on with the scoreboard.
Good job, boys. Next up is event number 19, the girls 100-yard backstroke.
Great job to those boys. Up next, we have the girls 100-yard backstroke.
We will see lanes 2 through 6 being used with 3 McCutcheon athletes and 2 Western Boone athletes.
And off they go. In lane 2 for McCutcheon is Getsamani Diaz. In lane 3 for Western Boone is Jenna Twitty. Lane 4 for McCutcheon is Kinsey Hutchinson. Lane 5 for Western Boone is Adeline Sarton. Lane 6 for McCutcheon is Abby Galanwoski.
And Jenna Twitty is the slight favorite here in this event. We will see her in lane 3 for the Stars.
She is followed closely by a tight race for second, but it looks as though that is lane 6, Abby Galanwoski for McCutcheon, who holds second.
And Jenna Twitty, an excellent first 50 there for her at a 35.74, as she has a comfortable lead as second place out in lane 6 with a 40.14. That would be Abby Galankowski for McCutcheon. And now we see Jenna Twitty closing in on a victory here in this 100 backstroke for the Western Boone Stars. Really controlled this race from start to finish as she finishes with a really solid time of 1:14.1. And then out in lane 6 for McCutcheon, finishing strong as well. That is Abby Galankowski finishing second. And then finishing third, her teammate in lane 4, that's Kinsey Hutchinson.
Then followed is lane 2, that's Getsamani Diaz for McCutcheon with a time of 1 minute 40. Then in lane 5 with a time of 1:44.81, Adeline Sarton for Western Boone. Up next, we have the boys' 100-yard backstroke.
Yeah, we saw Jenna Twitty there for Western Boone with a strong race finishing first, but then McCutcheon able to get some valuable points there, being able to finish second and third behind Twitty of Western Boone.
And lane 1 is Artie Millizer for Western Boone. Lane 2 for McCutcheon, Nathan Huang. Lane 3 for Weibo is Jacob Norman. Lane 4 for McCutcheon, Hudson Burnett. Lane 5 for Western Boone is Ethan Barnett. Lane 6 for McCutcheon is Christopher Cleveland.
And it's a really tight race to start here, but out in lane 3, that is Jacob Norman for Western Boone with a very, very slight advantage over the competitor in lane 4 for McCutcheon, Hudson Burnett. Jacob Norman with an excellent turn off the wall as he gets a little bit more of a cushion between him and that McCutcheon athlete. As he swam a 31.32 for that first split, and McCutcheon's Hudson Burnett swam a 32.15.
And Norman reaching the home stretch of this race. He will finish first with a time of 1:03.20, followed by lane 4, Hudson Burnett for McCutcheon, second with a time of 1:07.32. Then in lane 5 with a time of 1:10.53, that is Ethan Barnett. Then lane 6 with a time of 1:12.36 is Christopher Cleveland for McCutcheon. And then in lane 1 in 5th place with a time of 1:23.90 is Artie Millizer for Western Boone. And finally in lane 2, finishing 6th with a time of 1:32.25 is Nathan Huang for McCutcheon. Up next is the girls' 100-yard breaststroke.
An excellent race there from the boys in that 100-yard backstroke, as we saw Jacob Norman for Western Boone get that individual win, followed closely behind in second McCutcheon's Hudson Burnett.
And to the water they go. Lane 2 for McCutcheon is Riesland Goetz. Lane 3 for Western Boone is Ariana Stieber. Lane 4 for McCutcheon is Sarah Lubin. Lane 5 for Western Boone is Micah Hull. And lane 6 for McCutcheon is McKenna Wallace.
And an early lead here for Western Boone's Ariana Stieber, but she is followed closely behind. They're in lane 4 from Sarah Lubin of McCutcheon. Ariana Stieber on the seed list is a 3-second favorite in this event, as we see her and Sarah Lubin battling for that first place position.
Stieber with a split time of 35.43, followed by Lubin with a split time of 37.66, then Hull with a split time of 43.35. Stieber now into her last 25.
It's been a strong swim for Stieber. We'll see if she can hold on to this lead that she has created here, as she is closing in on an individual victory for the Stars.
And just barely missing her seed time, Stieber finishes with a time of 1:15.51, followed by Lubin with a time of 1:20.34.
And then we see in third place currently for Western Boone, that is Micah Hull, who will finish third in this 100 breast.
With a time of 1:34.15. And over in lane 2 is Rieslyn Goetz for McCutcheon. And she does not appear to have a seed time on the paper, so right now anything for her will be a PR.
As she crosses those flag shoes, oh so close to finishing this race here for McCutcheon.
And she will hit the wall, finishing in fourth place is Rieslyn Goetz for McCutcheon with a time of 2:24.28. Up next is the boys' 100-yard breaststroke.
This is the last individual race of the night.
Into the water they go. Lane 2 for McCutcheon is Nolan Kurtz. In lane 3 for Western Boone is Jude Balky. In lane 4 for McCutcheon is Silas Preston. In lane 5 for Western Boone is Alex Crockett. In lane 6 for McCutcheon is Kyle Miller.
We see Jude for Western Boone take an early lead here in this 100 breast with three McCutcheon athletes closely behind, but his teammate currently, that is Alex Crockett, is behind him in that second place position, and then third and fourth are currently being occupied by McCutcheon's Silas Preston and Kyle Miller.
Jude Balky with a split time of 35.68 in that first 50. He's followed by Alex Crockett with a split time of 39.37. Looking to take it as a 1-2 WeBo win. We'll see how they do going into each of their last 25s.
And it looks like Western Boone's Jude is going to take this victory here as he's looking strong, heading to this finish line. It's going to come down between a battle of second place after Jude finishes first here between Alex Crockett and Silas Preston for McCutcheon, but it will be Alex Crockett, a 1-2 finish for Western Boone with Jude and Alex. Alex very happy with that time and finish there as he finishes second, finishing third for McCutcheon, Silas Preston, and then out in lane 6, Kyle Miller finishing fourth for the Mavericks.
Jude Balky finishes first for Western Boone with a time of 1:18.58, followed by a new PR for Alex Crockett, 1:25.94. He beats his seed time by merely a second. Then in third for McCutcheon with a time of 1:29.60. That is Silas Preston.
Yeah, that's why we saw Alex happy there after he finished that race. After finishing second, he is able to get a personal best for him. Congratulations to Alex Crockett. And now we see in lane 2, that is Nolan Curtis for McCutcheon nearing this finish line, and he will finish for the Mavericks.
Great job to Jude Balky on taking first and to Alex Crockett on closing it out for a 1-2 WeBo win, getting a new PR. Great job to him.
And now we move in to the last event of the night for the girls and guys. It is the 400 free relay. We will have 3 entries here in this 400-yard freestyle relay. Western Boone's A team is seated first with Samantha Jones leading off, Jenna Twitty, Caitlin Crowley, and Adelaide Jones. Then we have McCutcheon's A team with Rebecca Putman, Kinsey Hutchinson, Lillian Klein, and Sarah Lubin as they enter the water here. And then McCutcheon's B team with Rizlin Goetz, Annalise Thompson, Gabriela Requerme, and Getsamani Diaz.
Currently in first in lane 3. That's Samantha Jones for Western Boone. She reaches the end of her first 50. Now into the second she goes. Taking that lead and growing it as she continues this race. Behind her is Rebecca Putman for McCutcheon.
Samantha Jones there, an excellent time. Another split for her going under 30 seconds. She's had an awesome day in the pool today as she looks to continue that for the Stars.
Rearing up on the board is Jenna Twitty for Western Boone as Samantha Jones comes into contact with the wall and goes Jenna Twitty.
And
followed by lane 4. That's Kinsey Hutchinson for McCutcheon's A team.
Yeah. Samantha Jones there, another solid split at right around 32 flat as she increases her lead by right around 2 seconds. And Jenna Twitty is looking strong for the Stars as well as she is maintaining this first place position.
And there in lane 6, that's Annalise Thompson now into the water as the second swimmer for McCutcheon's B team. Jenna Twitty into her second 50 of the race.
That first 50 for her was a 31:56. And then her competitor there in lane 4, that is Kinsey Hutchinson for McCutcheon, swam her 50 in 37:77.
And Twitty now in the home stretch. Now into the water is Caitlin Crowley, the third swimmer for Western Boone's A team.
And Jenna Twitty finished that 50 there with a split time of 35 flat as Caitlin Crowley enters the water for the Stars and looks to start out strong here. And now McCutcheon's Lillian Klein enters the water for the Mavericks.
Crowley finishes her first 50 with a split time of 31:65. So far, all very, very fast times for the Stars on their splits.
Yeah, Caitlin Crowley there swims almost an identical time in her first 50 compared to Jenna Twitty. So very good consistency from the Stars team.
Now in lane 6 is the third swimmer for McCutcheon's B team, Gabrielle Requerme.
And a really solid first 50 there from McCutcheon's Lillian Klein as she swims a 32.5.
Crowley touches the wall, finishing her second 50. Into the water is the final swimmer for the girls' A team, Addie Jones.
And Addie Jones has had an excellent night tonight as well, as we've seen her finish first in some individual events and relays as she looks to close out the night strong for the Stars.
And she reaches the end of her first 50. And as she hits the wall, her split time will be a whopping 21:31. By far the fastest split tonight from this event.
Yeah, I think the time might have been a little bit off there as we saw Caitlin Crowley touch the wall and then that time start a little bit late. So maybe Addie Jones a little bit slower than that, but still an excellent swim for her as she comes to the finish here with Western Boone in control here in this 400 free relay. and Addie Jones will touch the wall first for the Stars with a really solid time of 4:15.67 for Western Boone as they take another first place finish in this meet.
And that will be the girls' final event for the night from Western Boone. Now we watch McCutcheon finish up their relay. That's Sarah Lubin in the water for McCutcheon's A team, who just now finishes with a second place time of 4:38.73. And in third is McCutcheon's B team. The final swimmer for them is Getsamani Diaz into her last 50, the last 50 of the relay.
And she makes that turn into her last 25 for the Mavericks. She will look to really put in a strong finish here and close out this girls meet strong with just one event remaining, which will be the guys 400 free relay. And she touches the wall, and McCutcheon's relay will finish in a time of 5:35.17, placing third.
Just as Graham said, up next we have the boys 400-yard freestyle relay. This will be the last event for tonight's meet. Lanes 3 through 6 are full.
It'll be Western Boone's A team in lane 3 and Western Boone's B team in lane 5, with McCutcheon's A team in lane 4 and then McCutcheon's B team in lane 6. Starting for Western Boone is Isaac Darkeld in lane 3, lane 4, Jackson Anchorage for McCutcheon, and then Henry Biggs in lane 5 for Western Boone, and then Anders Novquist for McCutcheon in lane 6.
And a very, very close battle for first place right now. That's between Isaac Threlkeld and Jackson Ackridge. Jackson Ackridge slowly trying to hold that lead, but Isaac Threlkeld is determined to take that from him.
Yeah, just a 0.4 second advantage for McCutcheon there, and Isaac Threlkeld was able to, it looked like, close that gap just a little bit there, but as they come off that flip turn, it's still McCutcheon in the lead, but Threlkeld is closing fast for the Stars.
Ethan Barnett and Jackson Pelfrey for Western Boone and McCutcheon are now into the water. Very neck and neck, but it looks as though Ethan Barnett is just barely ahead by inches. Great split times from Isaac Threlkeld and Jackson Ackridge, respectively, with 28 seconds each.
And it's still a close race for first here as we head to the wall. And those split times will be 28:36 and 28:64. Can't get much closer than that. Less than 0.3 seconds separating these two swimmers.
Ethan Barnett continues to hold a lead by inches, millimeters if you will, as he goes into his final 25. His brother Wyatt Barnett will be the next swimmer for Western Boone, and for McCutcheon, the third swimmer will be Hudson Burnett. Ethan slowly but surely increasing that lead into the water goes Wyatt Barnett. Currently, they hold the lead, but close behind him is Hudson Burnett for McCutcheon's A team.
Yeah, Ethan Barnett there able to swim a split of 31:31, which was just over a second faster than the 32:48 that McCutcheon's Jackson Pelfrey was swam. And then we see Western Boone's B team in third there with a strong finish from Alex Crockett, and then McCutcheon's B team enters the pool as well.
Wyatt Barnett with a split time of 27:45, followed by Hudson Burnett with a split time of 28:26. Wyatt Barnett inching ahead as his race goes on. Coming into his last 25, you can see Jacob Norman there for Western Boone. The fourth swimmer is rearing up on his board, ready to hop in there and finish this out for the Stars.
Yeah, every 50, Western Boone has just ever so slightly increased this lead as Wyatt Barnett touches the wall. And we see Western Boone's anchor, Jacob Norman, enter the pool with a solid lead here. He'll look to defend off McCutcheon's Christopher Cleveland.
Norman into his second 25, reaching the halfway point of said 25. Looking to hold this comfortable gap that has now been grown. His split time for his first 50 will be a 25.72.
Wow.
Lightning fast, followed by McCutcheon with a split time of 35.15. That's from Christopher Cleveland.
I was about to say, Jacob Norman looked really comfortable there in that first 50, very fluid motion as he goes through the water, and it's implemented by that super quick time for him as he comes near the wall here with Western Boone comfortably going to take first here in this last event with a time of 3:46.35.
And as a team, they beat their seed time of 3:52.98 comfortably. Incredible job to all the swimmers from both Western Boone and now finishing second, McCutcheon's A team with a time of 3:59.33.
Now we have Western Boone's Jude Balk in the pool and McCutcheon's Nolan Kurtz. As Jude comes to the wall, he will finish that relay in third place with a time of 4:25.28, as we see McCutcheon in fourth place out there in lane 6 as he makes the turn into the final 25.
Clock is reaching 4:50. And Nolan Kurtz for McCutcheon's B team now into the home stretch. When he hits the wall, McCutcheon's B team will finish with a time of 5:01.83. Great job to all the swimmers tonight. And we will be here shortly with the final standings of the teams.
Good job, boys. This concludes our meet for this evening.
Whitaker Glass and Mirror, located across from the Lebanon Municipal Building, has been serving the Boone County area for nearly 15 years. Whitaker takes care of windows, specialty glass, mirrors, windshields, and more. Contact Troy and Janie at 765-482-1500 or online at www.whitglass.com.
Hi, I'm Anita B. from Anita B Beauty, LLC. I'm a registered nurse, proud Lebo grad, fine line tattoo, and microblading artist. I offer 3-inch fine line tattoos starting at $100. Popular designs include birth flowers, loved ones' handwriting, and custom design work. Additionally, I offer eyebrow microblading. We are located across from the Lebanon Library at the Glow House, where my business partner, Alita Jackson, offers teeth whitening and spray tans. And don't forget to mention this ad to get $5 off your next service. Go Stars!
Hello, I'm linebacker Kanan Bruins, out to thank Western Boone Youth Football for sponsoring WBTV Sports. Western Boone Youth Football building tomorrow's state champions.
And we're back from that commercial break, awaiting the final scores and standings of these two teams from the announcer. Incredible job to both teams tonight. Great races were swam, great dives were divin. What do you think, Graham?
Yeah, I'd have to completely agree with that statement there, Andrew. Both teams did an excellent job tonight, and we saw Western Boone. It seemed to me like they are going to get the win with their top finishers in those individual and relay events. We'll have to see and wait for those final scores. But both teams, an excellent job, as you said, both in for the swims and the dives. We saw some Yahtzees and some awesome scores in the dives, and then we saw a lot of personal bests across the board for both the boys and girls swimming in tonight's meet.
And now as we await the final scores and standings, we see the Western Boone swimmers getting in their cool down alongside the McCutcheon swimmers. And now we have the results.
With a score of 74, McCutcheon, Western Boone 106.
And that is Western Boone with a 74, McCutcheon 106.
With a score of 80,
Sorry, the other way around.
Western Boone 100.
And the boys team for the Stars will win the meet as well with the score of exactly 100. So a sweep here for the Stars athletes with both the girls and boys getting the team victories. So an excellent job on both these teams tonight.
Incredible job, just like you said, by the teams. And as we can see now, the Western Boone swim team, boys and girls, are taking a group picture. Great job to them, and congrats. Many PRs, like you said, and many, many fast times. Great dives. Great job to the Western Boone swim team tonight. I'm Andrew Petro, and I'm joined here by Graham Cavins from us here at Western Boone Radio and TV Sports Broadcasting. We thank you all for tuning in. Have a good night.